Good day, everyone. I don't know what time you're gonna watch it, so I won't bother with the good mornings, but how you doing? All doing good? Well, I'm glad you're doing good. Today I'm gonna cover over a movie that I had only ever seen in clips. I had never watched the full movie until doing this review, and then I actually watched the whole thing, and my fucking god. We got Gary Busey returning in Gingerdead Man from 2005, which, can't believe this came out in 2005. It's filmed very much like it's like an old 70s, 80s slasher kind of thing. And it is one of the weirdest little fucking concepts I've ever watched. And the fact that Gary Busey plays Gingerdead Man is... oh, chef's kiss to whoever got Gary Busey to sign on for this, because god damn, there are so many off-the-wall things in this movie where I'm just like, somebody picked Gary Busey and they couldn't have picked anyone better to be an absolutely insane gingerbread man. But before we get into that, as always, thank you over to Dubby for giving a sponsor out here to the Oddcast. We appreciate you. So go use code Oddcast, save yourself a little money off. Go get on some of the deals they got. They got like 30-40% off that they're doing all the time. Get yourself a couple flavors, whatnot. So go enjoy that. Share the love with us, if you wouldn't mind. And when you're done with that, go check out the podcast, What an Oddcast, where we talk about a little bit of everything, pop culture, comic books, movies, you know, sometimes we even just get into random rants about shit that you're just like, how do you guys deal with that? And we don't know, that's why we talk about it with you. We begin our movie at Cadillac Jack's, a little diner outside in Texas, where Millard Findlemeyer, what an amazing fucking name, who's Gary Busey, he's robbing this diner, but he's also just fucking killing literally everyone in the diner. And some of them he fucks with. Like, there's a dad who comes up and is all like, hey, man, just take what you need and go. And he just kills him right off the gate. And then the brother comes up and he fucks with him a bit by, he tries telling him to put the gun down. And he's just like, say it like I got some balls. So he says it again, and then he sets the gun down on the counter and he's like, there's the gun. Why don't you try to get it? And then he pulls a knife and just stabs him to death because he's not right. But the sister stayed behind, and then we get a weird little cat call that he does. It's creepy and also made me laugh a little bit just by like, somebody just told Gary Busey to do this, and he was just like, I got you, don't you worry about it.
Kitty. Hey, kitty. Hey, kitty. Here, kitty. Here, kitty. Get kitty. Kitty. Let me see you.
See, it's both creepy and also just very fucking Busey off the wall. Like, there's no one else who could have done that any differently. Like, Busey, just goddamn, I love you. But he gets distracted by all this. He shoots the girl, but he lets her live. Because, gotta do. Mom always said, she always said never leave anything unfinished. But he shoots her down below the waist, says he's gonna let her live. And then the cops show up, and he's like, oh, shit. And he ducks into the back. And, then we get a little long title sequence. And I want to give special mention in this title sequence because it says the special effects were done by Elvis Strange. And my mind immediately just went to a Doctor Strange who's all, oh, come on now. Like, just the fucking Elvis Doctor Strange. I know. I'm a fucking weird nerd. Why the hell that came into my mind, I couldn't tell you. That's just my fucked up brain. How you doing, though? So anyway, we then cut about 2 years later, as we'll find out. But it's the middle of the night. We get to meet the girl who survived, Sarah, and she's making gingerbread men and doing a whole thing in her family's bakery. And we end up seeing like the news clippings about her dead brother and Millard and how Millard was executed, and it was supposed to be her brother's birthday today. So she has like a little conversation with that, and we find that he was sentenced to the electric chair thanks to her testimony about what happened, and we get a little I'll get you, you bitch. Don't you worry whether it's in this life or the next, I'll fucking get you. And, because that'll come back. That'll be an important reference there. But anyway, she ends up meeting her coworker, Brick, who's really into wrestling. He's an amateur wrestler. But he comes in and he's all like, yeah, we gotta help make these gingerbread men. And there's a delivery at the door. But when Sarah goes to get it, there's just a hooded person walking away, which, I don't know, I feel like would raise some red flags for me. I get a random package that says it's my seasoning, but it's also delivered by a mysterious stranger who walked away. But anyway, so Brick tries opening up the gingerbread mix, and he ends up cutting himself pretty good. And unsafely, he just starts bleeding into the fucking seasoning. So, like, that's cool, Brick. Real food safety on that one. But because he bled into it, we get to see a little spark to know that something's not quite normal about this gingerbread seasoning. But anyway, he figures like, hey, I'll tough it out. It's whatever, and he starts making the gingerbread, and Sarah goes up front to make sure her other coworker Julie is doing what she's supposed to, which of course she's not. She's like the ditzy airhead of the group, where she's just kind of like, hey, look, there's the newspaper article. Looks like they finally killed that guy you sent away 2 years ago. Oh, I'm sorry, that's a sore spot, isn't it? It's like, you're one of those kind of people. You bitch. But she's supposed to be doing a thing, so they argue about that. But in the back, the cookie batter is getting all stirred up, and we learn and while that's happening, we learn that Millard was cremated, but it was sent to his mother, and they're all like, wow, that's really creepy. And while the batter's getting all mixed up, we see a little hand reaching out, and it's like, oh boy. And, outside, Betty, who's Sarah's mom, she's drunk as fuck, and she's shooting a shotgun across the street, because Texas, we got guns! But anyway, there's like a rival diner kind of thing across the street, and she calls them a bunch of sons of bitches, and to deal with this, you sons of bitches! And she starts shooting their sign off, that they had like a banner up. She starts shooting it off, because drunk ideas. But Sarah comes out, stops her, and then has Julia drive her home. She's like, just fucking take her drunk ass home. But of course, as they leave, we get to meet Gingerdead, who, he's a good old Texas man, and he runs the diner whatever that's across the street, and he's all like, what the hell happened to my banner? You and your drunken fucking mama. But he starts talking about he wants to buy them out because they're going to fail anyway. And then he points over to his daughter that, Jesus Christ, I just have to include this clip real quick.
Did I tell you she was just named Miss Pretty Face of Waco?
It's only the 10th time you've reminded me.
With my help, Lona's gonna make something of herself. Be a big star.
So side note with that, his daughter won Miss Pretty Face? The fuck kind of competent, not even like Miss Waco, just Miss Pretty Face, which, what in the actual, who the fuck's running that competition? Like, what kind of dumb shit is that? Anyway, Sarah ends up going back inside, and she's talking with Brick, and they're all talking about, like, oh, we're going to fail, like, we're not doing so great, sales have been down, we're going to have to shut down, and Brick's all like, what do? You hit the mat, you get back up, I tell you what. And Sarah sends him home, and she's like, don't worry, I'll finish things up, you just go take care of your wrestling practice and whatnot. And, she does. She makes more, the cookies, and she gets them in the oven, and she's just enjoying herself, trying to take her mind off everything. But then Lorna Dean comes back, honey, the Miss Pretty Face there, and she wants to have some words, but she plants a rat. Which they get into a cat fight, and they start beating each other up, but she hits her in the face, and Lorna goes, don't you dare go for the face, bitch! Yeah, she's a real bitch, is really all we'll learn from this movie. But they end up hitting the power supply, like the breaker, and sends a short circuit out. And that brings the Gingerdead man! He's alive! they're figuring out, like, oh, you dumb bitch, you hit the fucking power thing, Lorna's boyfriend, Amos, he has a weird name, and it's sorry. Amos, he walks in and he starts questioning about things, and he's like, I thought you were just gonna have words with her. What's this about you planted a rat? You're being a real bitch. And the oven starts to smoke, so they're like, oh man, no, my cookies. And he's like, well, I don't know, whatever you were baking is overdone now. Our little killer Gingerdead man comes running out of the oven, and we get, again, just Scary Busey, just great line here.
Well, whatever it is, I think you overcooked it.
On the contrary, I baked up just fine.
The hell is that?
Well, it sure ain't the Pillsbury fucking dope boy.
Yeah!
Fucking great. But he scampers off, and Amos believes that this whole thing is being played up by Brick, that it's some kind of amateur prank. But Lorna spouts on about it must be black magic because she used a Ouija board once and had an incident with a Ouija board, and they got heard from a ghost that then turned out was a real killer that killed her. And it's like a whole thing that it doesn't even make sense for what's going on, because again, she's a dumb bitch. She's one of those like, I'm pretty, I don't need a brain. Literally. So anyway, she wants to leave, but Sarah, she also ends up wanting to leave because she recognizes the voice, and it makes her skin crawl. She can't quite put her finger on it, but she definitely recognizes that voice somehow. But Amos, he wants to fucking catch it, because, why not? We can become famous and go on different talk shows. So they start searching around, and they find it in the cooler, eating baked goods and drinking milk as a gallon of milk comes flying out. He's also, like, super strong for just a gingerbread man. But they freak out because it's not in the cooler when they open it. Like, somehow he scampered away, or at least they think. And, Lorna's like, give me the phone, Amos. And she tries to call her daddy. But the phone dies, and then they question, like, why the fuck didn't you call, like, the police or something? Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? And she's like, I just need my daddy. He'll come take care of it. Because B-movie got a B-movie, the phones are down, and her cell phone dies. But unfortunately, we cut back to the kitchen where Sarah's mom, Betty, comes walking back in, and she's, again, drunk as shit, but she decided I ain't done with the kitchen yet, and she walked all the way back. And she finds the rat. But unfortunately for her, the Gingerdead man finds her also, and we get she thinks it's her drinking that's causing him to be there, but he assures her he's very real.
Ever try a lady finger?
So yeah, he cuts her finger off, she falls back, and then he starts taunting her, and she's all like, Millard. He's like, you're goddamn right it is. And but luckily for her, the other coworker, Julia, comes back, and she's all like, I need to get you out of here. Like, she said to take you home. Like, what are you doing? But then she gets knocked the fuck out from behind. And cut outside to Amos's car. He's trying to grab his phone, and also, he has a revolver that he's carrying around, because, again, Texas. So he brings in a revolver and his phone, gives his phone to Lorna, but of course it's dead, because why not? But, and Lorna and Sarah are having a conversation. How do I put this? Lorna is a hoe. A big hoe. And that she's only with Amos because he's kind of fun in bed, and that's about it. So, that's cool. And then the power cuts out as soon as Amos gets back, and they have to go figure out the generator. But while they're doing that, Jimmy Dean pulls up, and he questions what the hell Lorna's doing here. And he says, I quote, that tattooed punk got you up to no good again. I want to point out, Amos isn't tattooed up. He has like a couple piercings. I don't know where the fuck he got I don't know why he says this tattooed punk, because he's not tattooed. So like I don't understand that line. That's the one line of this entire movie where I'm like, that literally makes no fucking sense. Jimmy gets out of his car, and he's looking over Amos's car, calling around for Lorna, but the Gingerdead man jacks his ride and runs him down. using a rolling pin, and it's fucking hilarious. So he's dead, and back inside, Amos and Sarah are trying to get the generator back up, and Amos reveals he's not a fan of Jimmy and Lorna, and that he's more empathetic towards Sarah, and ends up leading to a confrontation with Lorna, about like, what are you doing with him, you bitch? But anyway, they find a blood trail, they follow it around, and it turns out it wasn't blood, it was like, I don't know, like cherry syrup kind of thing, but it was meant to lead him to the cooler, and they find Julia all decorated up like a naked person, but as a decorated cake, because Gingerdead Man apparently had time to do that. I don't really know how that works. But Sarah realizes that Millard is the Gingerdead Man, and he's come back from the grave, and Lorna runs outside saying, fuck this shit, I told you black magic, and she finds her dad dead, and she doesn't even mourn him. She sees him and it's like, oh, Daddy, you are my whole life. Well, anyway, give me your fucking ring. All right, bye. And she just walks back inside like nothing happened. Like she didn't just see anything. Julia, but Sarah and Amos, they're starting to get close to each other, and they have Julia out. They're letting her warm up. But back up front, Lorna gets attacked by the Gingerdead Man and gets her face all cut up. And she runs away freaking out because her face is cut. And she's like, is it my fucking face? Oh no! Because he's just dumb bitch. Just absolute dumb bitch. I can't wait till you die. And oh boy, she'll die later. But then this is a scene that I had to include because this is just straight Gary Busey gold. Gingerdead Man argues with the rat.
Hey, rat! Rat! I'm talking to you! Want a piece of me? Hey, you little shit! Fuck off! Come over here! I'm gonna kick your ass. I'm gonna kick your little rat ass.
I fucking love it. I fucking love this. I love that little scene. Come on, I'll kick your little rat ass. Like, what the fuck? Anyway, back where everyone is, Lorna's being a super mega bitch, and she pulls the mega bitch card about how she's just gonna buy them all out anyway, so fuck you. And she decides she's gonna leave. But as she goes to the back door, she gets hit with a knife to the face, because the Gingerdead Man has made a trap everywhere. And then Sarah pulls a Jennifer Love Hewitt and starts doing the, fucking I Know What You Did Last Summer with, what are you waiting for? Just come get me! Which, trying to get her to come get her, and then Gingerdead Man ends up firing back about like, your dad and your brother were pussy. They couldn't handle it. Are you still scared, little girl? Trying to get them to come towards him because he has more traps, because of course he does. But they don't fall for it. But he ends up setting up Sarah's mom's finger to point towards the oven, and turns out her mom's in there baking. Sarah and Amos get the oven open, and they get her mom out. But then Amos gets hit from behind and gets kind of knocked out. Sarah gets locked into the oven. But luckily, Amos is lucky enough to shoot the frying pan that's holding like the door lever in place just in time, and Sarah comes crawling out. But in comes Brick, because he saw them through the window and knew something was wrong. And the Gingerdead Man gets the gun, starts shooting up the place. By the way, I just want to say that gun has way too many goddamn bullets. Like, he shoots like 12 times. It's a fucking 6-shooter, for the love of God. I know it's a B movie, but Jesus Christ. But Julia knocks him down, and Brick puts an end to the whole thing. Eat me, you pussy.
Be glad to.
You whore! Eat me, you punk bitch!
Put your papers, no one's bitch!
You fucker! Don't, ow! No, not on eating! No, you can't eat it! Don't eat it! Damn it, you punk bitch!
But everyone catches their breath and head outside. Brick's still cleaning up, and Sarah ends up going back in to get him because they're like, man, he hasn't come back yet. But once she gets back in, it's revealed that, oh no, he's been possessed. Because turns out eating a fucking dead man possessed gingerbread man, he'll just possess your body after that. But Amos and Julia and Sarah, they end up kicking his ass back into the oven, and they shut it and fry him to death.
Looky there. Just like magic. You couldn't stop me back at the diner when I took care of your old man and your pussy brother. And you ain't gonna stop me now.
I was scared of you back at the diner. But I'm through with being scared of you, Millard. Back to hell where you belong!
So everyone's happy. All's ended. Everything's fine. We cut forward, and Sarah and Amos are together. Of course, Sarah had finally finished up her college classes, and there's some nurses there, and they're talking about, "You've been a real help to us down at the hospital." So like she's finally a nurse, and they're having like a little bakery sale, and her mom's done with drinking after the events of everything. Everyone's happy, right? Well, not quite, because wait a minute, do those gingerbread men have fucking eyes?
Do you have any gingerbread cookies?
Not if you're lucky, I don't.
Actually, an older lady stopped by just a few minutes ago and dropped off some of these cute little rascals. Couldn't you just die?
And that's Gingerdead Man from 2005. Again, I had never actually seen this movie. I had only ever seen it in clips, and I had heard people talk about it. But I'm kind of glad I watched it, and apparently there's 3 of these movies, so I may watch the other 2 and decide if I want to cover them or not. But I love Gary Busey. Like, Gary Busey and things like this, I fucking love it. Especially just, "I'll kick your little rat ass, come on." Somebody just like Gary B fucking crazy as shit, and it worked so well for this. But you can find us, if you want to say anything, you can go to the things that I have on screen here, oddcastmedia@gmail.com, follow us at oddcastn on Twitter, do all that stuff. Like, share, subscribe if you feel like it. I don't know how you're gonna, I don't know. But next week will be the season 1 finale for Jokeypants Has Bad Taste here. I'm going to be covering over the first 5 Puppet Master movies. Because I've seen most of the Puppet Masters. I found out there's 15. I think I've seen at least 12 of them. So there's a couple I haven't seen. I know I've seen at least 10 to 12. But anyway, so tune in next week for that. You'll see all the first 5 Puppet Master movies. And they start off as an interesting concept and end... They get kind of just really off the fucking wall by like 3 to 5 or 4 to 5. It's been a while, but I know 4 and 5 at the least are just very off the fucking wall with what they decided to do. But also go listen to the podcast, What an Oddcast. But until next time, remember, don't gene splice animals. Don't bring things back from the dead. Be careful what you're using when you're baking. Don't prank your friends as a serial killer. Stop dumping your chemicals in the sewer, stay out of the water, but most of all, stay odd and stay happy. Fucking Gary Busey. Just such a fucking great pick. So off the fucking wall.